Welcome to Low Tier Fun Tier, where I take a look at the Rank 1 lineup for a country in War Thunder and pick out my favorite vehicles. Let's check out the Soviet Air Tree. I'm going to pick out my favorite fighter, bomber, striker, and premium aircraft at battle rating 2.0 or lower from rank 1 of the Soviet Air Tree and take them into the chaos of arcade battles, since that's what most players do at rank 1. First up is the legendary Polikarpov I-153 Chaika. The 153 was developed as an upgraded evolution of the earlier I-15 biplane fighter. The Soviet doctrine of the time called for a mix of two types of fighters, high-speed monoplanes and maneuverable biplanes. The equally famous I-16 filled the high-speed monoplane role, and the I-153 was developed as the maneuverable biplane. Innovations included retractable landing gear, slightly refined aerodynamics, and the absolutely outstanding Shkas machine gun combined with a better engine. In War Thunder, the I-153 has a very well-deserved reputation as an aggressive fighter with heavy firepower for rank 1. The individual hitting power of the guns is low, but you have 4 of them, and the cyclic rate is insane, so the total throw weight ends up being comparatively respectable. Whenever I fly the I-153, I make sure to set my ammo belts to tracers. While it isn't the most effective ammo belt, the tracers aren't for me. They're for the other guy, because when I'm unloading the Shkas on some chump, I want them to know. Flying the Chaika into missions can either be an adrenaline rush or a huge letdown. There often isn't a lot of middle ground, because the plane is slow. Your kill count is often going to be limited really only by what you can catch. I generally try to find the biggest, thickest furball I can and just dive into the middle of it without any regard for my own survival. It may seem foolhardy, but if you can get on a hot streak, you can sometimes get rolling in double-digit kill totals in a very short span of time. To add to all this, the I-153 can carry rockets. Just a little extra punch if you want to shoot down some big heavy bomber or something and don't want to spend the time working them over with the Shkas. The only downside to flying the Chaika, in addition to the fact that it's kinda slow, is that most enemy players will recognize the threat, and you'll often end up being a priority target for a 5-on-1 dogpile. My pick for a bomber is the venerable SB2. This version is the SB2 M103. The Tupolev SB was a highly advanced bomber for its time, first flying in 1934, and often considered to be as revolutionary as the American B-10. The M103 version I'm using had longer range, upgraded engines, some improvements for crew comfort, and could operate from frozen lakes. The SB2 was generally behind the curve by the start of World War II, but still saw heavy use on the Eastern Front, mostly because nothing else was available in the early stages of the war. In War Thunder, the M103 version can carry 3 heavy bombs, is relatively fast for a rank 1 bomber, and is surprisingly maneuverable. If you have upgraded crew gunners, you can sometimes even get dogfight kills by maneuvering into enemy planes and letting your forward gunner open up on them. Seriously. The SB2 M103 ends up being very useful in a tactical role, since its large bombs can clear out clusters of ground targets pretty easily, but they're also effective against strategic bases. If you can climb and stay up there, you can sometimes win a match all by yourself. Don't underestimate the SB2 M103. For a ground attack strike aircraft, my pick is the Su2 MV5. The plane was designed by Pavel Sukhoi and Andrei Tupolev, both legendary figures in aviation history, and the result was a very credible ground attack fighter for the time. The Su-2 was first introduced to service in late 1939, just before World War II started, and proved to be very well liked by its crews. It was used both as a ground attacker and as a reconnaissance plane, and even though it was eventually replaced by the IL-2 as a ground attacker, Its front end design was reused and grafted onto the Lag-2 fighter to develop the legendary LA-5. In War Thunder, there are a bunch of different versions available, but the one I've chosen is the MV5. This version combines a rear gunner with a respectable pair of 250 kilogram bombs and 4 SCAS machine guns. This means that the Su-2 can credibly fly as a bomber and as a fighter at the same time. Flying the Su-2 MV5 into battles gives a surprising amount of flexibility. I tend to fly this plane rather aggressively, using the SCAS to pound enemy fighters and hitting targets of opportunity on the ground with the bombs. This plane is frequently underestimated in air combat, and more foolish enemy pilots will be eager to engage with you, smelling an easy kill. The joke's on them, though, because once the 4 SCAS open up, the pain begins. I really can't stress strongly enough how underrated the Su-2 is at low tier, and I hope the double ace mission you're watching right now illustrates how effective this plane can be with just a little bit of practice. My pick for a premium plane at rank 1 is the legendary TB3 Bomber. The TB3 was designed in the late 1920s and was the main strategic bomber for the Soviets during the entire 1930s. In fact, their entire strategic bombing doctrine was designed around this aircraft. At a quick glance, it's very obviously a product of its time, with exposed crew and a set of huge fixed bogey landing gear. The TB3 was nonetheless a versatile aircraft and served with distinction. Over the course of its service life, the TB3 was used as a heavy bomber, a troop transport, a mail plane, a paratroop dropship, an Arctic supply plane, and yes, as a flying aircraft carrier. I fly mine with this cool Aeroflot mail plane paint job because nothing stops the mail. While the TB3 was basically obsolete when World War II began, it still saw pretty heavy use during the conflict in secondary roles, and even traditional bombing sorties early in the war. This ended up being a very strategically important aircraft, even if its combat effectiveness as a bomber in the 1940s was getting somewhat limited. During its prime, though, the TB3 was second to none. This thing has gunners all over the place, carries a heavy bomb load, and takes a lot of firepower to shoot down. Flying the TB3 in War Thunder takes a bit of practice. The plane is quite slow, with a very narrow safe speed range between the stall speed and the maximum speed in level flight. The good news is, its heavy bomb load means that you can use the TB3 to completely wipe out strategic bases in one pass, or you can mop up pretty heavy numbers of ground targets. If you don't get paired up and end up in a match against mostly reserve biplanes and BR-1 aircraft, this thing instantly becomes a bit of a gunship, and with upgraded gunners, you can bring down light aircraft without much trouble. Plus, the meme factor is pretty high with this thing, so it's hard not to love the TB3. Well, that about wraps up low tier fun tier for the Soviet aviation tree. I hope you enjoyed this look at my favorite rank 1 low B planes. Keep an eye on the channel as I'll be making more low tier fun tier videos, one for each nation, and maybe even the ground trees. As always, thanks for watching.